Oh, they trying to mess up my stream. Interesting. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. It's your girl. I don't know why this thing is moving all weird. Hit that thumbs up, y'all. We got some conversations that we need to have today, okay? It is your girl, High Priestess Jamila, and I'm here with another exclusive about the narcissistic parent. The title, they don't give you enough room in the title for you to actually put what you want in there, so I had to kind of condense it. But this can be any parent that you're dealing with. I've been getting phone calls about the narcissistic mothers in particular. I've been getting phone call after phone call after phone call. about this paradigm that is happening. And so let me explain something to you. First of all, if I can survive my murderous, hey, chat. Hey, Maya and Super Plutonic. Hello. Um, if your mother, okay, let me tell you something. I survived a super duper murderous mother. My mother believes in child sacrifice. My mother has no problem with sacrificing her children. And then also among other things. So if I can survive that, you can survive your mother because I got the worst. I got the absolute worst. I don't care what nobody says, but that's okay though, because I have a spiritual mother. Okay. So let's talk about it. What do you do? What do you do when you're crazy, narcissistic, super duper demonic, don't want to let go of the demon, demonic mother or other parent stalks you and uses black magic on you? Now, these are signs that your mother is using black magic on you. When things fall out of your control, number one. When you've got something literally that is of another world happening in your life and it's just like so ridiculous, okay? Most of us are mothers, have saved hair from us as a child. Some of the mothers will have certain bodily fluids of yours if they were able. I've actually heard of I've actually seen some mothers doing readings, going through the trash and getting out their daughters' pads or tampons. I'm being serious. Okay. What's up, Denise Silva? What do you do in that situation? Do you sit there and feel helpless or do you go into action? Now, a lot of y'all can come and get consultations. To put this in a nice way, what you need to do is use necromancy on them. When you have tried everything else, when you have tried binding them, when you have tried banishing them, when you have tried everything else, this is when you have to go to using necromancy. I have seen these people. I have seen these types of parental units destroy everything that their kid has. I've seen them do it. It's unlike anything you have ever heard of in your life. Most of these children are innocent. Most of these adult children of narcissistic parents, they haven't done anything to deserve it. You're just a sacrifice, honey. When you are the sacrifice of a delusional, murderous mama, you can't get emotional about it. You have to instantly disconnect emotionally from them. So you probably already done this if you've went no contact, or you probably are in the process of that. Now, the problem is that it depends on how deep the rabbit hole goes. How deep is it going? You have a mother that has been long-term stalking you, hires people, gets people in the family to stalk you, gets people around you to stalk you and harass you. What do you do? Hecate visited me this morning and said, use necromancy. Your mother may be just that way. She may have been born that way. Your father may have been born that way. A lot of the times, for them to do the ultimate evil to their own children, they are demonically possessed. When the demon no longer has a host, then the demon is gone. So this is when you have literally ran out of options. You have to do necromancy. Okay, if you guys want to know what necromancy is, it is death magic. Now, doesn't mean that necromancy is going to necessarily kill your parent. Okay, that's not the point of it. You know, nobody wants to do that. That's horrible. Okay, but if your parent is denying you freedom, liberation, is also a black magic practitioner that is doing everything in her power to see you fail, what other choice do you have? It's either survive or don't survive. It's either have struggle in your life or have a good, easy life. One or the other. Which one are you going to choose? Are you going to choose to have this walking shell of a person walking around literally? And let me tell you something. Once you lose respect for the narc parent, this is when things can get really, really ugly. Okay? This is when things get really, really ugly. Okay? So if you've tried to do it the nice way, you've tried to do bindings, you've tried to do cord cuttings, you've tried to do everything in your power, this is when you have to go to necromancy. This is one of the reasons probably why Hecate contacted me. Yes, some of your narky parents, they will have to go. They ain't got to go home, but they just got to get up out of your house. You are an individual with a right to live. The narcissist doesn't think of you as an individual. They don't. Narcissistic mothers and parents are jealous of their children. They're upset. They feel like somebody owed them something, and you don't owe them nothing. You don't owe your parents nothing. In fact, for years, they were able to use you as a tax write-off for years. So that's sometimes really what it boils down to when it comes to these types of parents, is that it's just on paper. So if anything, after 18, 20 years of them being able to write you off of their taxes, and some of these parents are so downtrodden that they want you to live in their house at the age of 40 so that they can continue to write you and your children off on their taxes. Now, this comes with lack of survival skills. This comes from lack of drive. More than likely, if you have a narcissistic parent, number one, you probably grew up poor. Okay? You probably grew up poor because that parent could never get anywhere in life. Narcs are not intelligent. The people around them that take advantage of them are the ones that are intelligent. They're not the intelligent ones, because if they had any sense, they would know that you shouldn't have done that to your daughter or your son. You shouldn't have done it. That karma and that energy has to go nowhere but to you. Do not ever be afraid to do reversals. Do not ever be afraid to go and see a witch to handle her. Now, some of y'all, sorry guys, hold on a second. Give me a second. Some of y'all have these parents that are OCD, mentally ill, doing spiritual work on you. You can tell when they're doing spiritual work on you. It shouldn't make a difference. You got to do your saging, okay? Because trust and believe that they will go to see practitioners that know what they're doing. This is a parent that does not love or care about their kid. And you can't allow yourself to be overtaken with that grief. A lot of you guys that are about my age, it's a current generational curse. It just started with your generation, with your mother. So you probably didn't see it in your grandparents. Maybe you did. That would be a second or third generational. Some of y'all have new gen hexes on you. The gen hex is going to come from a lot of times your own mother and your grandmothers. And it's because they have a problem with aging. The reason why they age so fast is number one, because there's a demon tearing down their body. That's number one. Okay. And then another thing, they don't care much about themselves. So they let themselves go and they get mad at you because you work out, you keep your hair done, you do your makeup, and you can come out here and be on camera. That's why my narc mother is obsessed with me, is because I can come on here, cam up, and, you know, she's upset about that because my mother really literally should have died in that car accident. She did die in her car accident when she was 16 years old. She died. And while there were any remnants of her, I came 2 years after. Now, my mother was not in her right mind. She hasn't been in her right mind since then because she feels as though she lost her looks. She never had any friends. All of her friends turned their backs on her because she looked different. This was an extremely traumatic experience for my mother. Yet and still, you cannot try to put those scars off on your daughter. Now, many of you have different stories. Some of y'all, your mother's father molested her. So guess what she did? She let every man she ever met molest you. Probably because your original dad refused to molest you. These people are sick. They must be destroyed. I'm just telling y'all what I know. A lot of y'all, when you get to the point where you start to feel more empathy for your narcissistic mother than yourself or your own children, then there's a problem. You cannot do that. You have got to choose you. I would have no problem lighting a candle to put my mother in the grave right now. You know why? Because first of all, my life is worth something. Second of all, it's been 5 years and she's still stalking me and trying to use black magic on me. Also at the same time, kicking it with my enemies. You have every right to ask spirit to take that life force that's in your mother for doing things like that. You do. It's just, guys, yeah, it's some stuff that you just don't do. There's things that my mother has done I would never do to my children. Never, never. And I think the first place or the first area that my mother messed up was when she convinced me that she would help me with my daughters, and then she did them wrong. So this was where the relationship first began to fall apart. The relationship with your narcissistic mother is falling apart, not your life. Let it fall. Keep it going. Okay, because this is what's happening right now. The narc is freaking out. It doesn't have its supply. You are no longer the supply. You have made it to freedom. If you were able to get away from that situation, you are free to do whatever it is that you want. Now, a lot of y'all, it's a programming, and then it's also spirits. So a lot of y'all, there's specific instruction that I give you guys whenever you're dealing with that. Unfortunately, if your narky mother knows where you live, you're going to have to sage your house probably every couple of days until you move. You're going to have to sage. And you can't dilly-dally on it. Even if you're tired, even if you feel wore out, you got to do it. Okay. And then you also need to come up with a plan and devise a plan. And so now, just to let you guys know, there are different levels to narcissistic abuse. There are different levels to it. There are different intents. Now, for some reason, my crazy mother has always had this delusion, and she always had a fantasy. She loved to see me homeless. So this is the reason why when I got ready to move out of a place where she would no longer know where I was at, she began to freak out. The fact that I won the court date freaks her out. She's been sending all kind of stuff over here. I've been sending it on right back to her. That's what you got to do. But you have to eventually, because your life should not have to be all about this struggle. It shouldn't. Practice that necromancy. If you guys want to know what that is, you guys can contact me. I'm using Etsy for the time being until because it literally took about 3 weeks for me to get my new credit card processor set up. And for some reason, I was so freaking scattered that I forgot about Etsy. So, we got that popping. Shout out to Etsy. I'm pretty sure that, you know what I could see my mother trying to call Etsy, calling all around. She calls everybody. What a lot of people don't realize, especially the stalkers online, what y'all don't realize is that this woman has been stalking me and trying to do spiritual work on me since I was born. Since I was born, people weren't even allowed to tell me that I was pretty. She didn't want people to tell me I was pretty. When people in the family would tell me that I was pretty or beautiful, she would say, "Don't tell her that." She didn't want them to do it. She's sick. Okay. And I'm gonna tell you something. If you a practitioner and you working with her, you gonna be just as sick as she is. The stalking and abuse and the witchcraft and the craziness got worse when I moved to Lawrence. This was in 2011 was when I moved to Lawrence. I began to get strange phone calls. I began to get stalked online. I was getting stalked online when I was still living in her house. Okay. You got to understand that when you have a good mama, you're going to be protected from that. My kids would know nothing about this except for the short time that they lived with her. Otherwise, they don't know how that feels, and they'll never know how that feels. She would love to destroy my children too. Your narc mother is doing the same exact thing to you, destroying everything about you. It's not even your mother half the time. A lot of these people are demonic. They're not thinking straight. So if you get a mother that calls your phone and says, "Hi, I need to do work on my daughter and I need to do this and I need to do that," you need to know that and I've warned people. Hold on, guys. I'm going to flip the camera real quick for privacy. I have warned people. I have warned people so many times, guys, practitioners. If you are a practitioner that takes cases like that and you help abusive, narcissistic mothers abuse their children and their grandchildren, what do you think is going to happen to you? What do you think is going to happen to you if you're doing that? Okay. Denise says, my mom stole my sage thinking she was going to make me mad and to get back at me. Sounds exactly like my mom. I've walked away and now after my younger brother, but my brother doesn't believe it's her. Yeah, they usually do. This is a dynamic. I actually posted an article that was written by a Black woman, and she goes into what you deal with if you're dealing with a terribly abusive and dysfunctional Black mother. Okay. And I'm sorry, a lot of this stuff that people be talking about, just the little sly comments, the little subliminal comments, and then you go no contact. No, I'm talking about full throttle. I'm going to try to destroy you as a person. I'm going to try to traffic you. I'm gonna do trafficking on you, literal sex trafficking. Y'all think it's a joke. These mothers are capable of anything. And if you take on that responsibility as a practitioner, to date, I have never had a mother contact me asking me to do something to her child. Anything. Anything. I've never had a mother ask me to alter her child's life in any kind of way. You know why? Because my spirits don't operate that way. Sometimes a self-destructive client will lead you to self-destruction. You can't blame Jamila for that. So as a high priestess, I can promise you that if you're taking a self-destructive client like that, you should have thought twice. All money ain't good money. And you know it ain't. Okay? So we're talking about in particular, if your mother is doing witchcraft on you, what do you do? First of all, you do need to do your reversals, bindings, and your gen hex removers. I'm actually doing one right now on myself, but you also have to do necromancy. This is very different from the drag me to hell enemy spell. Very, very different. Okay, I'm not going to talk about on here how I perform my necromancy, but please believe this is what my spirits is doing. The reason why my spirits is doing this is because I was born to help people. I was born to save people. I was born to do good in this world. So they're going to protect me at all costs. Okay. Now, some of you guys, maybe your story is a little bit different from mine, but it's still the same thing. Your mother cannot interfere with your job. Your mother cannot interfere with your marriage. Your mother can't do that. That's not what she's supposed to do. She knows that she's in the wrong. But the problem is that hatred, envy, and grudges seem to take over. Okay. And you just got to understand at some point, you may even go through a mourning process. Because please believe that when you start practicing necromancy, first of all, they're already practicing necromancy on you. There's been plenty of times where I done sat up here and got sick for a couple of days, real sick, felt gravely ill. A day or two later, I'm up. They hate to see that. That's why they immediately reacted to that video. So this is something that's happening to me right now. And I can promise you that ain't nothing bad gonna happen. I've been through this probably 4 to 5 times. You can have as much confidence as you want, but confidence has nothing to do with fate. Confidence has nothing to do with it. You got to understand that if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. This is something that they can't accept. What was meant to be was for my mother to have a car accident at the age of 16, carry those scars the rest of her life. That was what was meant to be. It was never meant to be for her to take it out on her daughter, for her to abuse her daughter because she hates the way she looks, for her to do things behind her daughter's back, for her to contact witches to try to do work. My spirits tell me every single ritual. I have seen every single ritual, and you can bring me to the brink of death, but I'm going to snap back just like that. You can bring me to the most horrific situation. Their latest is trying to make me homeless. That's their latest, which is totally ridiculous. It is. It's ridiculous. And I'm willing to see it through to the end, which is why I'm still here in this house. They wanted to see me homeless the beginning of this month, but I was in the courtroom. I told you guys that I'm the judge, I'm the jury, I'm everybody in the courtroom. The judge was me. It was so bizarre. So these people cannot win. Your narcissistic mother cannot win unless you let her. And that's what it is. It's a competition. First of all, being a parent don't have nothing to do with competing with your kid. This is somebody that has been taken over by a demon. This person has went around cursing several people. I have seen several people's lives go downhill since they got together with my mother, and they're so stupid that they want to blame it on me. Well, you shouldn't have got involved with this demon. If a child moves away from the mother, tells the public what the mother did, and you decide, hey, I'm going to be involved with this person, that is your own mistake. Whatever is happening to you right now, because this is the reason why these folks can't stand me. And they know who they are. You dealing with very, very old magic. You're dealing with something that is beyond you. And you should not get involved in family business like that. Because you have no idea. I mean, my mother is so manipulative. She had everybody convinced. All those people that she convinced have had nothing but troubles and problems in their life. They don't want you to know it. They don't want you to know what they're going through, but they have. And the reason why is because the lady is cursed, and it's because she chooses to be. She speaks cancer, heart attacks, strokes into her own life. This is a person that is suicidal. This is a person that is ready to die. You shouldn't be getting involved with things like that. And you for damn sure shouldn't be repeating things that this person said, because then that's when you begin to bring negative energy into your life. So this is what I want to tell you. You are right. You are 100% right for everything that you have done in defense, in self-defense, to defend yourselves against your mother. And I know for a fact that there are a lot of you that are thinking, my life would be so much better if this person were not alive. So that's why we're talking about necromancy today. Necromancy is where you can control the dead. You can also do death magic on somebody with necromancy. Okay. This is the guys, I'm telling you, I've seen it happen. And you know what? I done seen narcissistic mothers die when their kid is born, die when the kid is a teenager. Whose will was that? They say that it's God's will, but sometimes a parent has to die so that the child's suffering can stop. So this person can stop doing things, stop stigmatizing, stop trying to push people away. This is what these types of people do. What do? Do you lay down and take it like a dog and say, well, I'm just going to be a willing sacrifice? For what? Why would you do that? What would be the point? What would be the purpose? Hold on, guys. I'll be right back, okay? I'm going to read you guys' comments when I come right back. Hey. All right, let me read y'all comments. Okay, how do I check if my mom is doing work on my daughter? You probably need to have a reading, would be the best way to do that. Very often and very common, your mother will do work on your kids. My mother's trying to do work on both of my kids right now. Melissa Hall says, mine is trying to kill me, insurance on me. Yeah, I believe my mother has insurance on me too. Now she's playing with my kids. My sister is her sidekick. Why are they so jealous? I'm so tired. I don't know what to do. Melissa, they are possessed. That's why they're so jealous. They're possessed by demons. They are connected to the lawyers, controlled the court case, even stole my inheritance. You need to do a court case. You need court case work, babe. I don't care what lawyer they're connected to. When you do that court case work, it's over. They have no prayer. When you do that court case work by an experienced practitioner, it's over. So Melissa, contact me below. My contact information is below. I would love to help you. I would love to help you. Okay. If you can still be helped. Even though they may have stole your inheritance, that's okay. There's it doesn't stop at that. Sorry guys, I've got like jars and stuff up here and all kind of stuff. This is some work that I'm doing. I probably should have moved that tea light away from there. So this is the top of a jar that y'all looking at, because somebody was saying, yeah. My mom tried to cut my face, but it didn't work. She copies my look and her color. She didn't raise me, was in and out of my life. Yeah. Wow. Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. And you know what? Reach one, teach one. What I get the sense of is that your mother is not continuously doing work on you. I have to continuously remove work that my mother continues to do. I have to continuously remove it. I have to do it every day. I have to do spiritual work against my mother every single day because she's crazy. Okay? So, how did your mother try to cut your face? That's crazy. Nika, what's up, Nika G? You said I'm moving myself and my kids 1,200 miles away and I don't plan on letting her know where or when we're leaving. Getting new numbers for everybody, not letting her destroy my children the way she did hers. I know that's right. Do it. Do it. I moved about 1,000 miles away from my mother. Do it. Absolutely. And the people in your family, unfortunately, you have to disconnect from the entire family because they're in on the dysfunction. They're in on that dysfunction. You have to disconnect from everybody in that family, unfortunately. Because you know, when the family has a scapegoat, when the family has somebody that they can dump, that they can basically take a dump on every single day, they're going to take advantage of that depending on what kind of family you come from. Now, the last time I had spoken with my mother, she was basically cutting everybody out of the family because she said they were all trying to smear up her house. My mother has paranoid delusions. She's really, really messed up. She is. And you know what? People that have paranoid delusions, they can do some hellified spiritual work. Don't be sleep on it. Just because somebody crazy don't mean that they can't do work. You cannot ever believe that what they can do to you can harm you, and you've got to take the spiritual steps to alleviate the problem. Okay? You have to. If you don't, you're going to have a lot of problems in your life depending on your mother. I've consistently had issues financially, with love, everything. She flipped everything upside down. And I said 10 years ago that she was my biggest enemy. Everything that she does confirms it. I went to her Facebook and she's friends with my enemies. The reason why they do that is because they want you to feel betrayed and feel hurt. Well, I don't need to feel hurt by that, but thank you for showing that you have an association just in case it ever has to go to court. Because I believe that we should start suing these narcissistic parents or either doing necromancy on them, one or the other. They don't understand anything but death and jail. That's all that a narcissist knows about. If you threaten them with death, they're going to freak out. If you threaten them with jail, that's how you get them. Getting revenge ain't going to do nothing. What you going to get revenge for? That's not the point. This is not about revenge. This is about protecting yourself. Are you kidding me? This is about protecting yourself and what you want and have in life. You'll consistently build to a fault, and then she'll tear it down. And you'll build and build and build. And then she'll try to tear it down. This is a cycle that you don't have to keep going through. For what? Many of us want easy lives. There is a way to have an easy, peaceful life. You don't have to live like this. You just have to do work. All kind of stuff. I know for a fact that my mother contacted my current landlord. I know that for a fact. Everything that she did, she will have to reap what she sows. And the reason why is because I do magic. And magic is not an illusion. Somebody was saying that magic is an illusion. That's not true. Magic and miracles and energy can be used to fix your life, can be used to make things better for your life. So it's not always an illusion. Magic does many different things. That's just one aspect of magic. When you're practicing magic, you could be removing an entity. You could be removing a blockage. You could be removing a situation. You may want to manifest money. You may want to manifest this and that. And magic is not just all bad. Okay. Magic has helped a lot of people. After 4 or 5 years, you realize, oh, this person ain't gonna never stop. And your narc mother or father is the head vampire in charge. She's the one that controls the other little vampires and the little imps and anybody else that is being sent after you. And it's sad because you know, unless you've been emancipated, many of you that had narc parents, you wanted to be emancipated. We're going to talk about emancipation next. Many of you knew when you were 16 years old what kind of situation you were dealing with because you were trying to be emancipated. Legally, you wanted to file an emancipation from your parents. This is either because there was dysfunction, the parent never did nothing, the parent always tore you down, you were being abused. So many people sought emancipation. There is this, and many of you went ahead and forgave. They tricked you. They let that insurance policy mature. And then now this insurance policy done matured. And especially if your mama, like my mama is dirty. I grew up hearing stories of where she aborted my brothers and sisters. I grew up listening to that, to my mother tell me and brag about how she killed my family. So this is a woman that is capable of murdering her own child with no remorse. You know what women go through when they make a decision to have an abortion? Those women, they go, my mother don't care. My mother bragged to me. She said, I killed all of them. So that was letting me know right there as a child, I knew instinctively that this is a person that is capable of murder. Yeah, my mother, absolutely. A lot of y'all that feel that your mother wants you dead, she does. My mother wants me dead right now. Because if part of it is psychotic, it's a psychosis. You're not doing what I want you to do, and you're 30 and 40 or 20. You're old enough to make your own decisions, but because you didn't do exactly what they wanted you to do, and when they can see you going somewhere in life, they want to destroy it. It's okay for her to have nice things. It's okay for her to do things with her life. But you're supposed to be, I guess, and I don't know what it is. It's different for different ones of you. But what I can tell you is that you must strike back with that death magic. Hold on. I'll be right back. Divine Feminine keeps asking why. There's different reasons, hon. I gotta go warm up my coffee. I will be right back. इसे संजीवनी मंत्र भी कहते हैं। ये अत्यंत प्रभावशाली मंत्र है। इसके उच्चारण से उत्पन्न हुई ध्वनि के कंपन से शरीर के चारों ओर दैविक शक्तियों का सुरक्षा कवच निर्मित होता है। इस मंत्र के नियमित श्रवण व उच्चारण मात्र से अमंगल, दुर्घटना, दुर्भाग्य व विपत्तियां मानव मात्र से कोसों दूर रहती हैं। ये जीवन में सुख, शांति व समृद्धि लाता है। हम त्रिनेत्रधारी भगवान शिव की आराधना करते हैं, जो सुगंधि के कोश है, जो सभी का पोषण कर वृद्धि प्रदान करते हैं। भगवान शिव से हमारी प्रार्थना है कि वो हमें अमृत्यु के लिए मृत्यु या मर्त्य लोक से मुक्त करे। जैसे कि परिपक्व ककड़ी बिना कष्ट अपनी बेल से
अलग हो जाती है। ठीक वैसे ही भगवान हमें मृत्यु और पुनर्जन्म के चक्र से मुक्ति दिलाकर मोक्ष की ओर ले जाएं। ये महामंत्र मोक्ष प्राप्ति का अत्यंत प्रभावशाली साधन है। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिः वर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धना मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृता।
All right, y'all, I am back. I'm back, you guys. Sorry about that. Okay. So, emancipation. This is very important for you to get spiritual emancipation. Okay. Um, the bad part about it is that it really depends on your situation. Most of you are not out in the public. If you are somebody that is out in the public eye that is dealing with this, then then you're gonna have to do something about it, especially whether or not you're in the public or whether or not you are not in the public. You're still gonna have to do something about it because this is a person that carries your blood in their veins. And see, this is, you know what it is? I'm gonna tell you what a narcissistic mother, at least what mine is. You know, when you see a cat or a dog go crazy and eat their children, this is exactly the energy that we're dealing with. This is a sort of like a glitch in nature is dealing with. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to go to work. And you can't lay down and die. There's been plenty of people that have laid down and died because of this. Okay? Plenty of people that have committed suicide because, and y'all know I'm very strong. So, but there have been people that have committed suicide because of their narcissistic mother. Okay? There's a reason why your mother is narcissistic. There's a reason why this is happening to you. And I doubt it very seriously that it's just meant for you to lay down and die or either kill yourself. So many of you have been close to suicide because of that. It's very painful, especially when you're in your teens and your 20s, because you don't know which way to go. You don't know what to do because your mother is supposed to be guiding you. No, instead, your mother is degrading you. And it goes deep. It goes very, very deep. Sexual abuse. This is the reason why these mothers, these so-called mothers, are very interested in their children's sex lives. Also, you may be dealing with Oedipus complex from the mother. Sometimes your mother has some weird fantasy about having sex with you or sharing men with you. This is the sick mind. So you can tell that it is perverted. Okay, you can tell that it is a perversion. You can also tell that the person is possessed by demons. These are demons that you're dealing with. Your mother's not there. She's not there. There is no mother to speak of. Okay, it's only a demon. And sometimes the body will start to look, the body and the face of your mother will start to even look like the demon. It'll look real bad. When somebody's demonically possessed, that body starts to deteriorate fast. Okay, it starts to, and one thing that you can tell is when there is possible obesity with your mother. Like my mother is my mother is huge. She's big. My mother's a big woman. Okay, probably twice my size. So morbid obesity and body image can play a role, but that's just a sign. To be honest with you, it's just she's just not there anymore, and you just gotta, forget about her. Is what you have to do, and eventually you will. The only time I think about my narc mother is when she starts doing spiritual work on me. That's the only time I think about her. Otherwise, I don't think about her ever. She thinks about me every single day. Why? The only thing that she can think about is destroying me so that I can have to move back to Kansas City. So when you're dealing with a black mother, you're like a runaway slave, because some black parents raise their children like slaves. In fact, the slave parenting thing has been very prominent in the black community, which is why there's a lot of parents that will beat the crap out of their kids. Now, my mother, she was not physically abusive. She allowed other people to be physically abusive to me. She allowed my uncles. She allowed any man in the family that was willing to beat on me. She let them do it. Okay. My mother psychologically tried to damage me. When she can't psychologically damage you, the fact that I keep coming on here doing readings, the fact that I can cam up and come on here and look decent, this is bothering this person. She never thought about these people that are her agents and acting as her agent. They never thought about just closing off the video. Oh no. And this is something that they won't give up on because they've given their life. So all of her agents, they're sacrifices anyway, just like you. This is the one thing that I want to tell you. It's funny because people, I swear to God, it's y'all, when I started going through this about 4 years ago, when I moved to Georgia, there were people that were contacting me and they would say, I've talked to your mother. So what does that mean? Oh, okay. Well, I already know the deal. You talk to my mother, that means that you are a sacrifice. My mother don't care about you. First of all, the fact that she lied and got you involved in it. And then another thing is that if you are practicing witchcraft and you have a mother that's a witch, obviously you're going to be stronger than her because you're younger. Obviously you're going to be stronger. Just because she's older doesn't mean that she's stronger, because the ancestors are not co-signing that. Okay. So, and it's like, well, she only has power over you to make you come and lie and tell lies and attack me. That's your problem. You shouldn't have believed her. It could be, it could be a demon calling your phone trying to tell you to mess with an angel. Do you know how powerful angels are? Oh, Lord, I don't mess with angels. Y'all, what's up, Taylor Made? All right, I'm going to smoke my cigarette and drink my coffee, y'all, and read y'all comments. Okay. Deneva asks, will they receive their karma in this lifetime? Yeah, they're already receiving it. Whatever karma that they're experiencing, because they're miserable every single day because they can't control you. What you need to do is make sure that you are removing their intent from you. It doesn't even really matter if they get karma. I don't care if she gets karma or not. The only thing I'm concerned about is removing her negativity from my life, okay? Reach one, teach one. That's a good question. Does that mean that my daughter will be stronger than me? I'm so excited for her, but I don't know if she will ever practice the craft. If you raise your daughter and you're showing love and respect to your daughter, you don't ever have to worry about it, because there's a reason why the children end up stronger. It doesn't necessarily have to be. If you take care of yourself, if you take care of your mind, body, and spirit, and you're doing right by your children, that's a concern that you don't even have to have. But yeah, it's usually the generation that precedes you will be stronger and wiser, and it's supposed to be that, because as humans, we are evolving. So of course, she may be a lot more advanced, but if you loving your daughter, if you loving your daughter and you doing right by your daughter, you don't have nothing to worry about. Okay? You literally have nothing to worry about. If and even if you've made mistakes in the past, all parents have. If your child is calling you every day saying I love you, saying I miss you, that you good. Mhm. That's good. As long as you don't try to control her energy, control her power and things like that, then you'll be fine, because that's the first thing that a lot of witches will do, is they will try to bind their children's power. And you can't do that because they need that power to function in society, especially if they're a witch. If you're a witch and you don't teach your kids witchcraft, you are leaving them open and susceptible to demonic attacks, mind control, attacks from other witches, death, destruction, poverty. Let me see what other questions. Good question. Reach one, teach one. Denmark asks, I love my daughter beyond my life, and you should. Most parents are willing to die for their children. Okay. Uh, is there any way I could become my mother? No, but you do have to protect yourself from that demon. Remove the generational curse so that you won't become your mother. Remove it. Okay. Melissa Hall, I'd be happy to help you. The link to my website is below. None of her kids come around besides two of them. We're in the same house and I stay away from her as much as possible. She won't let anyone in the house anymore. Okay, Nika G, you stay with your mother? Girl, you're going to have to get out of there. You're going to have to get out of there, babe. You can't be staying with her. Have you tried to get your own place? Yeah, my son is, my youngest son especially, he started to exhibit very strong empathic gifts as well as other. He's a seer. Y'all, I can go and I can buy a Snickers bar and I can give him one, and my son will know that I have two other Snicker bars, and he'll say, Mom, I know you got more Snickers. Give me all of them. So then as a parent, I have to explain to him, like, it's like he can see it. So Jacob is a very powerful seer. And I would never bind his powers. For what? Would I need to be afraid that he would use those against me? And yeah, there has been times where Jacob is a medium as well. So there has been times when, we've went through some pretty with him throwing temper tantrums. Sometimes them temper tantrums, boy, they can be pretty powerful. And you just have to know what action to take, especially if you're dealing with a psychic, medium, empathic child. You have to know what's going on with your child, and you have to be able to do those banishings of those bad spirits. Okay, you can banish bad spirits off of your kids. Okay, unfortunately, sometimes when you have a narky parent, they will purposely try to do things to your kids. So I saw somebody saying, I want to protect my kids. And you're right on with that, because if you have a narcissistic parent that is doing witchcraft as well, your kids are going to be affected by it. Okay, sleep disturbances, nightmares, they may be a little bit more messier. They may be a little bit more lazier. There's a lot of different things that they will do to your children to gain some kind of control, because see, they're cowards. They can't come at you head on. They can't do it. So they always have to have a group of people Sadly, all of those group of people are going to be sacrificed. I'm just telling y'all what I know. The last time, I'm going to tell y'all something. See, a lot of my enemies that are currently in social media, they have no idea the history of this situation. The last time when my mother and her agents tried to lead me to ruin, all of them lost everything, including her. She still had a roof over her head, but her bathtub didn't work. Her shower had a sprig of water that came out. That was Yimmy Ya. See, when Yimmy Ya is pissed at you, she will do certain things. And this house didn't show any signs of plumbing problems. As soon as she moved in it, it fell apart. It's very, very different from, this. So don't think that just because you have a plumbing problem that Yimmy Ya is mad at you. Sometimes plumbing problems can be caused by neglect of the plumbing of the pipes by your landlord. Okay. But a lot of times, or you, if you're failing to take care of the plumbing in your house, then yeah, it can mess it up. But the last time she did this was about 13, 14 years ago. Everybody that supported her and was in on it with her had some sort of destruction in their life. And her brother and his wife were her right hand men. Basically, they lost their house. Okay, right is right and wrong is wrong. And witchcraft can and will always be used to right all of those wrongs. Okay, so this is what I want to tell you. Where there's a will, there's a way. You just got to have willpower. Willpower does come in the form of a candle. You can, concentrate your energy into a candle, and you can definitely do the candle work. But if you are under full-fledged demonic infestation, when it's just a full-fledged demonic infestation, the dogs is barking, because that's when you can tell that it's really, really, really happening. So you're at spiritual war, right? So at that point is when you've got to drop all of the stuff that you've been taught and go beyond that, because just praying is not going to do anything. Okay, it's not going to do anything. You have to actually take action. You have to actually re-manipulate the energy that she or he or whoever it is has manipulated around you. Now, in my case, my mother started the generational hex, and she tried to pass it down to my children. Some of you have had this in your family for generations. And it can be caused by circumstances. My mother hates the way that she looks. She doesn't like looking in the mirror. She hates herself. So this is the reason why I have to deal with this problem. And please believe I'm dealing with it, honey. And your narcissistic mother, at least I know mine, when she sees me in my beautiful new home, she gonna make herself sick, because she spent years and years and years trying to prevent me from getting anywhere in life. And when she sees that everything that she did was all for naught, it's gonna seriously disturb her spirit. So then another thing, I saw her paying a witch to do work on me. The only witch that can actually have the power to do anything to me would probably be charging you about 100 grand, that of which she doesn't have. So it would take a lot of money. I'm talking about a lot of money. A lot of money. For a lot of you too. It's not just me. I'm not the only special one. It would take a lot of money. But you can be led to certain situations. A lot of you that, for example, with housing, for some reason, narky parents are obsessed with you being homeless. So then you may have a situation to where things may be slowed down. All of your processes may be slowed down to like a turtle or a crawl. So you have to speed things up. Okay, some of you may have been led to hotels, extended stays by your mother. Okay, by people that are doing work on you. You can actually prevent all of that. Many of you are going through changes because of this. And see, the Gen Hex removers have got to be done. They have to be done because what it does is it sends that energy back. Now, some of y'all, it's your auntie. Some of y'all may even be your grandmother. Okay? So in this name, that's ain't necessarily just your mama, but I mean, the statistics are alarming. You know how many people I talk to every single day that have told me about the treacherous stuff that their mother has done to them? Every single day. And, for me, the way that I do it is with the Gen Hex removers, but I do also offer necromancy. I do charge quite a bit for that. So what you can do, because if your mother is still active and alive and still has that intent, this is when you have a problem. So this is what you're fighting against. You're fighting against your mother's intent. If she's, and trust me, she'll identify herself as the enemy. She will, because she'll come, you talking that old Negro spiritual stuff, talking about I'm your mama and I brought you into this world and I can take you out. And when you see parents talking like that, just shake your head at them and tell them, say, yeah, I can't wait to get out of your house. Many of them will try to take you hostage. There's a lot of people that have what's the name of that thing where people can't get away from their environment when they've been held hostage for a very long time. I can't think of it. You guys will have to post it for me in the chat. Stockholm syndrome. Many of you have Stockholm syndrome. So you sort of become a victim to your mother. And every day is confusing and you're constantly, miserable because things are not going your way. And then you'll look to your left or your right and your mother will be sitting there smirking, enjoying every moment of it. What kind of mother enjoys seeing a man abuse her child? My mother has consistently done this to me. She has betrayed me for years when I was 12 or 13 years old. My uncle, God rest his soul, he's passed on now. He physically assaulted me and my cousin in my grandmother's house. Nobody was there. Everybody was gone except for me and my cousin. My mother would not allow me to leave with my cousin, and my uncle proceeded to smack me around my grandmother's house for about 20 to 30 minutes when I was 12 or 13 years old. Guess what happened? I called my mother at work and told her what happened, and she said, "No, it didn't. That didn't happen. You're lying." This is a true story. So the sickness is very, very deep. The fact that your mother gets pleasure out of seeing people hurt you. It's disgusting. She deserves for you to do necromancy on her. She is worthless. Now listen, if you're in your 20s and 30s and 40s and you don't talk to your mama and your mama don't bother you, but she may have raised you and she may have, did some things to you, but she's not currently doing anything to you, but you may have some childhood memories that you need to deal with. Okay, I'll give you a cleanse. We'll do a generational hex remover. If your mother is actively attacking you, then you got to do what you got to do. This is from Hecate. Hecate is the crone, queen of the witches. She does not respect witches and women that do that to their daughters. She is very, very overprotective of me as well, and of a lot of you. So she's one of the goddesses that I talk to all the time. And it's literally something that you have to do because they'll lead you to ruin. Many of you right now are facing a lot of problems because of the black magic that your mother or other members of your family has done to you. And there's no way of escaping it except for through magic. It's just not going to do it. Okay? You have to practice magic because listen, they lied when they said that you can't fight fire with fire. That's a lie. So that's always been like, they say, well, you can't fight fire with fire. Well, I've done it for years and you can see where it got me. I fought fire with fire. I did honey jars and court cases and all of that so that my spirits could have control over the situation. My mother somehow talked the landlord into doing some unscrupulous stuff. I had to undo it. So what you want to do is you don't want to live like that. You don't want to consistently have to undo what your crazy mama done did. That ain't no life. That ain't no way of living. And a lot of people will say, oh, well, you're cursed and you're horrible because, the Bible says, and the Bible says that you have to honor your mother and your father. But the Bible also says that you cannot provoke your children. The Bible also says that you're supposed to be a good mother and a father for your children. So they completely skip over that. And this is the reason why they try to do Bible curses on you and things like that. Listen, send all that stuff back. Do what you got to do. Ask the spirit to lay this person to rest. This person that is obviously suffering every single day. This person that has it out for you and has it out for other women. Has ruined the lives of many people. And the way I see it, my perception, let me tell y'all what my perception of it is. My perception, and it's going to be totally different from the perception of a delusion. My mother ruined the lives of all of the enemies that she brought against me. She ruined your life. Far worse than what she could have ever done to me. She ruined you. There is nothing that you can do about it. I don't know too many witches that are dumb enough to do work on a witch's child who is a witch. That's something you got to stay out of. Okay, because what spirit wants is for your life to be as easy and less traumatic as possible. That's what your spirits want. Your spirits don't want you to be going through all that struggle and stress and worry. That ain't what you're supposed to go through. Your parents were supposed to be the foundation of security. And without that, what did you have to do? You had to go out there and get it yourself, didn't you? And you did a fantastic job. A lot of y'all are doing amazing. I am extremely proud of you. You know why I say that? Because your mama ain't going to say it because your mama ain't proud of you. Your mama stuck back. I'm going to tell y'all simply what it is, what can start it. I'm going to tell you simply what it is when your mama had you during the 60s or the 70s and they can't let it go. Oh, it was a stigmatization. They blame you for being born. Oh, you ruined my life because I gave birth to you out of wedlock or some stupid crap like that would be the foundation of it. Ignorance and stupidity. You know what? A lot of these religions that teach you all that off stuff, y'all know a lot of the stuff that we have in this world is natural selection. If you dumb enough to do that to your own family, to your own children. And then not only that, especially when how many of y'all, I want y'all to put a 1 in the chat room if you were a good daughter to your mother. If you were good to the people that did you dirty. Okay. Put 1 in the chat if you were a good daughter to your to your mother. Put a 1 in the chat. How many of y'all respected and honored your mother, was there for her when she had cancer, drove her back and forth to the store, spent time with her when you could have been spending time with friends? How many of y'all made great sacrifices for your mother and for her to turn around and do you that way? So you've already done what you're supposed to do as a child of the parent. You don't owe them anything else. What more do you owe them? Your life? So because your mother gave birth to you, you owe her your life? That is stupid thinking. That is backwards and warped thinking. And whoever she sends, her agents, it doesn't matter. First of all, you don't have to worry about dealing with no negative karma from her agents because they were sent. Those agents were sent to you. Those agents they didn't have a pure heart to begin with. So whatever you had to do to the agent, you really don't have to worry about that. But unfortunately, whenever you make a move, you have to cleanse yourself and protect yourself from those energies. Okay? Yep. Oh, you poor thing. I'm so sorry that your mom did that to you. You know what? The Mother Earth and the Great Mother Goddess, the energy that has protected you, is going to continue to make things right for you. Okay? So I am so sorry about that your mother physically assaulted you. That's disgusting that she did that. That's horrible. Just thinking about it, you know how you spank your kids a little bit, you don't beat the crap out of them, you just kind of spank them, and a lot of us do believe in spanking, but to actually beat up your grown child, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. Okay? So, guys, when binding doesn't help, when banishing doesn't help, when cursing them doesn't help, and see, this is the problem with cursing your parents. You can possibly curse yourself too. So you got to be very, very careful. Don't go and put a Bible curse on your parents. That would be wrong because, see, you're the children of that parent. That Bible curse condemns the children too, which means you'll condemn yourself. Okay? Do your cleanses, do your healings. Okay? Now, for me, I'm fully healed. I feel nothing for my mother. Nothing. Okay? And you don't have to. It's time for you to let go of all that emotional baggage. Let it all out. Let it go. Let it go. Start living. Start living. Okay? If bindings and, especially if your mother keeps trying to reapply a Gen Hex, that is when it's time you should only have to do a Gen Hex remover 2 to 3 times. If your mama, your auntie, your sister, your brother, your uncle, your dad, if they continue to do that kind of work on you, okay, you have to do your necromancy on them. Do it and don't feel bad about it. Say, please, this person, because you already know that person is suffering. You already know that that person will not let go of the demon. I can honestly say that I was begot by a demon. I was that, and many of us were, because my mother died, came back. She died and came back. In fact, it was probably my energy that brought her back because I came 2 years later, but she was already possessed. This was one of the reasons why she lived through a very horrific car accident. Spirit has been trying to kill her for years. And the reason why is because they knew the lives that she would destroy. She's destroyed lots of people's lives. A lot of my enemies that have issues with the kids, they have issues with their family. My mother did a lot of that. When she called your phone, when you began to connect with her, this is when she began to psychologically program you, lie to you, and this is the reason why your family is dealing with death and destruction. So somebody that's in that way, if you look, nobody deals with, nobody in their right mind is going to deal with an abusive parent. Nobody. They're not dumb enough to do that. First of all, that abusive parent is cursed, has demons. And if they would sacrifice their own child, what do you think they'll do to you? Oh, I'm friends with your mama. Really? That lady don't believe in having friends. So y'all friends? And you tell them, and they say, "Oh well, I'm my name is stupid, and I'm just gonna continue." And it's like, she ain't your friend, and she ain't gonna do nothing but destroy you. I don't have to do anything to you, to be honest with you, except for send your energy back to you. But the fact that you became in cahoots with her, everybody that becomes in cahoots with my mother ends up destroyed in the worst way because you're dealing with her karma. In fact, the reason why she made contact with you is so that you could absorb her karma. She will never, a narc will never admit to their faults. Never. This is a true narc. Narcissistic people never say when they are wrong. So it's literally their mind, body, and spirit is doing it. So you have to think, why would you become an agent of a narcissistic parent when you know that that parent doesn't even care about herself or her child? What do you think that they think of you? They're just manipulating you, pretending to like you. My mother's favorite thing was to tell somebody, she would tell all my men, "Hey, you my favorite son-in-law." And they be sitting there thinking, what other son-in-laws do you have? So therefore, no man that I deal with will ever lay eyes on my mother. Ever. Ever. Or get one phone call from her. Because she will call. And she'll try to bribe you with money. Do you take the money? No, you go and get yourself a job. Or either start your business. We're her family, and we don't take nothing from her. So, and this, the reason why it has happened publicly to me so much, even though ain't nobody really saying nothing. You can see the signs, but ain't nobody really saying nothing. But it's happening right now behind the scenes. And those people are going to suffer. It's not that I'm wishing it on them. It's a part of the program. It's a part of what it is. And you got to get with the program. There is nothing that those people can do besides repentance and purging themselves of their sins that's going to help them at this point. There's nothing you can do because you shouldn't have done it. After a child grows up into an adult, this is when they have the right to stop suffering from abuse from their parents. If you help that parent abuse their child, you're going to suffer the consequences. So this is the reason why these people will always and forever probably hate me, because they're narcissistic too. They can't admit that they were wrong. They can't admit that they should not have gotten involved with my mother. And everybody that has gotten involved with her has been destroyed. So it doesn't matter how many candles you light. You can light 100 candles on me and you still gonna lose. And that's the reality of it. Nothing you can do about it. It's not my fate. It's never been my fate. Why do you think I made it to Georgia? Why do you think I made it here? And to be honest with you, it was totally unexpected. I didn't know that my mother would refuse to feed my children. She was supposed to take care of them until I got set up and I was going to send for them. She stopped feeding them. She stopped allowing them to talk on the phone. She completely isolated them and began to abuse them. They had to call the police. They had to, CPS had to remove my children from my mother's house. This is the reason why she's obsessed with calling CPS over to my house over and over again, because she's angry about that happening. because she could not control that. Well, she's not in control of my children. I am. And even though their father had his personal vendettas against me, would you have rather my children starve to death and been drove crazy and been driven to suicide, or for my daughter to have a baby as a teenager? So, the fortunate part about it is that I have a beautiful grandbaby that loves her grandma a lot. But the side effect of that was when she went to go stay with her father, and that to me is not a problem, because my daughter is still in school and she's still going to have an amazing life, because that is what I want for her. That is what I wish for my children. I'm never going to say, you had a child as a teenager, your life is ruined, ooh, I don't like you. See, this is the type of woman that my mother is. She's afraid of judgment, she's a coward, and she's weak-minded. So these are all of the characteristics of your mother too. It may not be as bad, but I can promise you this is the reality of it. And you got to let go of mama, because sometimes your mama ain't right. It ain't no different from the zombie apocalypse. If your mama walked up to you ready to eat your brain, what would you do to her? Would you sit there and say, oh, mama, just eat my brain, I'm going to die with you? No. Your mother, your real mother would have wanted you to live on. Look, if I told my children, I said, if I ever turn into a zombie, and this is a very metaphorical statement, if I ever turn into a zombie, blow my head off. And I mean that completely metaphorically. Do me in. I will teach you a ritual to put me to rest, because obviously I have lost myself. Now, that will never happen to me, because when I die, I'm going to be very old, with great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren surrounding me, and grandchildren. Going to be very well taken care of. I'm very loved by my children, very loved by my family that I created. Okay, that I created. So we're all capable of creation as mothers. So this is the reason why they attack your family, because they know they ain't never been your family. So that's why they attack your children, because your children are your family. They're all you have. Okay. That is so funny, guys. There's a stink bug in the window, but I won't kill it. Okay. Because y'all, spiritually, those stink bugs are very powerful. When you start seeing them, that means that something spiritual is happening. Mm-hmm. That's good, Janice. I'm happy for you. I am happy for you. Absolutely. So, guys, take action. Don't lay down like a dog and take it. Talk to your spirits if you guys need me. The link to my Etsy is below. Pretty soon my website will be back down there, because they already came and did the inspection and checked me out. It was a lot that I had to go through to, get my website integrated with a credit card processor. But what I will tell you is that you can make it. You can live your life. You don't have to continue to suffer. Now, there's a lot of you guys that have been asking about Gen Hex removers. Now is the best time to do it, especially in the month of October. For some reason, I get most of them. I actually have 2 to do. I have 2, but I'm willing to accept more. I have 2 people that I'm currently working on generational hex removers for, and they have already seen a huge difference. So if you guys want to do that, however, some of you may have already tried that. Some of you have tried other things. Some of you have so many threats at you. Imagine if what my mother tried to do to my family would have came into fruition. Imagine how the lives of my children would have been ruined if they would have been snatched from me and taken to foster care to be raped. My mother actually told my daughters, this is the God to honest truth. There's actually a video of my daughter exposing my mother. This is why she hates my kids. My mother told my daughters in front of the police that they were going to go to foster care and get raped by their foster father. If they didn't do exactly what she said, she was going to make sure that the kids went to foster care so that they could get raped. Isn't that sad? Probably about 3 days later, that's when CPS removed the children from her home. So my mother has been obsessed with that. Okay. Um, yeah. Yeah, and this is a safe place for you guys. You guys don't ever have to worry about that because I know what it is and I already know what they up to, and it's stupid and it's petty. First of all, as a mother, as an older person, if you're in your 60s, you're supposed to look older. Okay, that's just like right now I'm in my 40s. Of course, I'm going to look a little bit older. In fact, I've been trying to when you a teenager and in your 20s, you trying to look older anyway, putting eyelashes on and makeup. Well, now I look older like I always wanted to. But a lot of these mothers that are it's a negative spirit in them that doesn't allow them to accept that. And then also just because you're 60 or 70, I done seen 60-year-old women, 50-year-old women that look damn good because they take care of themselves. Okay, they don't sit around eating thousands of calories per day down in 211s. They don't do that. Okay, so if you guys need to reach me, you know where I'm at. It looks like you guys want readings, so I am going to do readings. I'll come back and do readings from a separate video. Oh, right now I am doing my witching hour flash sale. It's still going on until this evening. My 30-minute readings are only 30, 60-minute readings are 60, and then the 1 hour, the consultations are only 50, okay? And then also I've got some sales going on my spell work, but you have to contact me, okay? And then I'll let you know what the specials are with that because I'm not really revealing that, to the public or whatever, okay? That's between me and you. So, if, like I said, if you have a narcissistic mother, stop taking it for granted because that person will strike back. The older they get, the worse they get. The situation and the minds of these women does seem to deteriorate and it gets worse. What is a subliminal comment or some kind of off comment or talking about you behind your back turns into a full-fledged conspiracy against you. And this is something that I've survived and I'm going to keep surviving. Okay. So, you guys can contact me. Okay. I'll be back with some readings. I love you guys. I'm y'all mama. I'll be y'all mama. I'll be y'all good mother. That's how I feel at this point. Okay. And this is the way that this is what God created me to do. This is why, and I don't have a problem with it. I said, God, you mean to tell me that you created me to be a good person, a loving person, and you created me to heal people, and I get to make a living of it too. Thank you, God. So as long as you know who you are, you'll be fine. But they are creating a lot of situations in your life that are not good. So we can help with that. Okay. We're here to help. We're not here to hurt you. We're here to help you. Okay. All right. I love you guys and I'll see you later. Okay. Love and light. Hey, Orion's daughter. I was just about to leave and you came in. I was just about to leave. Grand rising to you too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'll see you guys later. Okay. Bye-bye.